Where do I even begin? Hello and welcome back to the Miscellaneous channel where we do miscellaneous things. I'm Zeleny. I usually cover pop culture, internet trends, and other miscellaneous things on this channel, so subscribe if that's your vibe. So I'm talking about this Netflix show called Sexy Beasts. The concept is basically like if they took The Masked Singer and combined it with Love is Blind in a very tacky and low budget way. All of season 1 just dropped on July 21st, 2021, and of course I binge watched it immediately and I just have to talk about it. So let's get into it. They dropped season 1 all together and it was 6 episodes that are all around 22 minutes in length. So season 1 is a total of 2 hours of time commitment. It's like the length of a long movie. So when I first saw the trailer for Sexy Beasts, which the name is so ridiculous. When I first saw the trailer, I was very okay, this is really trying to capitalize off The Masked Singer. The Masked Singer, if you don't know, is a reality competition show that is on Fox. It involves celebrities, which the criteria for celebrity is very loose for that show, but any semi-relevant person, they will sing in a very elaborate disguise throughout the season, and as people get eliminated, they reveal who they are. It's a bizarre concept, and same goes for that show. I think when the trailers and the promos came out for it, everyone was shading it, hating on it, but then it became this huge phenomenon. If you're not really aware of mainstream cable culture, you might not realize that The Masked Singer is the biggest reality show right now, even bigger than the Drag Race and obviously The Voice and the Dancing with the Stars, those types of shows. The Masked Singer has become the water cooler show. It's kind of insane, and I didn't realize it until, I heard people talking about it and saw the reach that it had. I don't get it at all. But this has led to a trickle effect of other shows wanting to incorporate Masked Singer elements into their own reality shows. So they even made a spin-off called The Masked Dancer. Drag Race made a little spin-off show that was Secret Celebrity Drag Race. It seems last minute they changed the format to emulate The Masked Singer and added this element where they reveal dramatically who the competitors are, but it happens at the very beginning of those episodes, so it was clearly just trying to capitalize and ride the coattails of The Masked Singer in that way. Sexy Beast to me was a very much we're trying to do The Masked Singer but dating. And then you have a show like Love is Blind that Netflix premiered in early 2020 that was a huge success. It was a very high stakes dating show, unlike we'd ever seen before. The Bachelor ends with a proposal and that feels dramatic, but Love is Blind was hell no, we're gonna take it 10 steps forward and faster, and they have to propose at the end of the first episode, and then the finale is them getting married. It really shook the reality TV consuming audiences, and it was kind of successful. It was definitely one of those shows that was made fun of a lot. It was kind of a joke type show, but people loved it. Honestly, it was hard not to get hooked on it. I loved it. I'm excited for new episodes coming out soon. I assumed when I saw the Sexy Beast trailer, Netflix did a focus group and was what are the most successful reality shows? Oh, The Masked Singer. Oh, Love is Blind. Okay, let's combine them and make Sexy Beasts. That's what I thought. However, once I researched Sexy Beasts, I found out that it is a reboot. It's a reboot of the original Sexy Beasts that aired in 2014. Before The Masked Singer, before Love is Blind, but no one cared about it back then. I mean, maybe they did. So in 2014, Sexy Beasts came out in the UK for BBC. Maybe I, as an American, didn't hear about it and it was known in the UK. And then in the US, there was a Sexy Beast that came out in 2015 for the A&E channel. I was shocked to find out that this is a reboot. Are you kidding me? I thought this was a very now sort of idea trying to capitalize on what shows have been popular now, and I guess it is. I still think it was influenced by the masks shows and the dating shows that have been popular for Netflix, but it's not an original concept. But anyway, so I watched the first season and holy crap. So the format of Sexy Beasts is episodic, so you get different cast members each episode. The premise is that a hopeful, so a person is trying to find love. The show provides them with 3 different options. They go on dates, and at the end they pick their favorite. The catch is that everyone is in these disguises, a very intense special effects makeup that make them look like a beast. So the idea is that they are dating without knowing what the other looks like, and that's supposed to lead to some deeper connection with a person. That's where it's similar to the Love is Blind concept, where they try to connect before seeing each other, except in this case they can like see each other's bodies and stuff, so it's a little less mysterious, but it's also very intense makeup. Like you can't really even tell their facial structure or anything like that. So let me get into my opinions. I'm really not going to bother to split up this video in spoiler free and spoiler sections. There's really not much to spoil, so I'm just going to get into my thoughts. Is it worth watching? Just general first impressions I had. It literally just came out, so these are kind of my hot takes, but I'm pretty decided on how I feel about the show. Okay, so I thought this show, Sexy Beasts, was so bad. Like, bad to a level that is not enjoyable for me. If y'all know me and my channel, I love hating on bad Netflix reality shows. Love is Blind, Marriage and Mortgage, The Circle. I mean, they're not all bad, but Netflix reality shows are kind of a big topic here. Even the trashy ones like Marriage and Mortgage. Yes, I hated on it a lot, but it was entertaining to watch. Sexy Beasts is not even one of these shows. Like, it is so bad in like a way that it's not about it being ridiculous or about like haha furries. It's like literally just a bad show, like entertainment wise and production wise, like kind of very clearly low budget aside from the special effects makeup. There were literally no stakes in this show. The format of each episode is that the hopeful is what I call like the person looking for love. They have 3 options. They eliminate one option midway through the episode and then pick a final option at the end. They reveal what they look like and then hug and walk away. Like, that's what I mean about the stakes. There's really no grand payoff at the end of these episodes, because the reason we watch dating shows, and I was reading an article that was critiquing the show about this, the reason we like to watch dating shows is because there are big stakes. Despite how ridiculous the concept may be, despite how much we question the motives of the people there, we think they're just there to get famous, which they are a lot of the time. Despite all of that, we watch dating shows because a lot of the times the stakes are high. There's like a big commitment at the end, a proposal, a marriage in the case of Love is Blind or a Marriage or Mortgage. So there are big stakes. Like, those are important moments in people's lives. There's big payoffs to the time you invested into it. In this case, it's literally one of those shows that's just like, yay, I picked you. Cool. And they hug or kiss and then just walk away. A lot of these people live in different countries from each other. Like, there's no longevity even to be fathomable for any of these couples. We can't even pretend to suspend our disbelief about whether they're going to end up together or not. So it really felt to me like those MTV shows from back in the day that were like Parental Control and Next, and these dating shows that are literally just like so quick and so short and so low budget. And you can tell everyone there is like a wannabe aspiring actor or model that just got the gig to get ahead in their career a little bit, very slightly, because if you're going on this show to further your modeling or acting career, I mean, sure, but you're in a mask most of the time, a very ugly mask. And a lot of just the interactions felt like acting. I can't imagine any person would actually believe they're going here to find love, which I know is the case for every dating show. Like, they're just there to get famous. I know that. But in this case, I can't even be like, maybe there could be a connection. It's like, No, they're there just to do a job. Not even to get famous, just to do a job, to be there. The other thing about this is that these prosthetics are so unbelievably uncomfortable, difficult to breathe in, hot. So to me, it's just like, you can't even enjoy the date with all of that going on. So that's why it just felt so, it felt boring. Like, it didn't feel entertaining in the way other trashy TV does. It's a similar problem I have with The Bachelor, and that's because The Bachelor does 3-hour episodes 3 times a week for 8 weeks or something crazy like that. Like, they have too much time and not enough content or substance. It's similar to this show, but in this show, it's only 20-minute episodes. Like, even that is too long for the stakes of this. That article I was talking about, it was actually on Wired that was reviewing the show, said that maybe if it had been on Quibi, which obviously Quibi doesn't exist anymore, but like their point was like this would have worked for like a 5-minute format. Maybe a Snapchat show or a TikTok thing or something like that, where it's just like a quickie payoff, because there's just not much at stake to keep you watching. So I definitely don't recommend it, obviously, by that review. I don't think it would hold anyone's attention in this day and age. It definitely didn't hold mine. I mean, I was multitasking while watching it. I usually do with trashy TV, but this is another level of like, I'm literally not entertained. So I don't recommend it. It's quite boring. The main reason I think The Masked Singer works that this show doesn't have is that it's a celebrity. So like, the whole time you're guessing who it is with The Masked Singer, and that's what people have a lot of fun with when they're talking about it. But in this show, they reveal themselves at the end, and it's just some like attractive random stranger. There's not much to it. You can guarantee it's gonna be some like normal, fit, and nice looking person, and just be like, okay. And that's kind of their own reactions too. They're just like, oh, you're hot. That's literally the reaction every time, because just like Love is Blind, they don't cast anyone who is unconventional looking, no one that looks different. They have like some diversity in race, and that's as far as it goes. Everyone's very thin and fit and pretty. So it's just kind of like, there's not much surprise. And I do think it would be cruel to do that, to put like ugly people in there and just for TV. I'm surprised they draw the line there, but they do. They don't really cast ugly people. This show is so like aggressively heterosexual. There were no same-sex pairings at all either. The people in it are very hetero, like, for lack of a better word. You would think that's obvious with like hetero couples, but like a lot of the men were just like, I want ass and I want boobs, and the girls are like, I want to get married. I can't find love. For example, in the first episode, which I'm getting into spoilers, but you don't care, you don't watch this, please don't watch this, it's so boring. The first episode, there's a girl who asks a guy like, would you cheat on me, or how do you feel about monogamy or whatever, and he's just like, I'll try, but the temptations the temptations are out there. She literally chooses him in the end. It just felt hetero as hell, and I think it'd be cool to do this in same-sex couples. I mean, Love is Blind didn't do that as well. That one was also kind of aggressively hetero. But Marriage or Mortgage, as much as I hated on it, it did a good job showing same-sex couples along with hetero couples. So yeah, this show just felt like trashy and like lower tier than like fun trashy. And it's unfortunate because it did have an interesting premise. Like, I thought it was gonna be a lot more interesting. It was giving nothing. I just felt so bad for these people in the costumes. Like, they couldn't drink, and they kept like going on dates with wine or champagne or beer, and they literally couldn't drink. They had like wine just falling on them. They had beer foam all over their snouts. Like, it's just so impractical, to the point of like, you can't even believe they're not getting paid to be there. It felt like acting. It did feel like Parental Control on MTV, how those were always like actors. Even a lot of them mentioned their job was model or singer or dancer or artist. Like they all had like these jobs that are very like, okay, you have a talent agent, possibly, probably. It definitely gave me the vibe that they're all actors, because I really don't think just regular people would put themselves through this. Like I think people that want to be models and actors would put themselves through this. I'm just talking about the makeup, not even like the dating part, like just getting in that kind of drag. This show is so low budget that they use impact font for their titles. If you're not like a graphic designer or aware of fonts, impact is like a very default type font that is not pretty or respected in the graphic design world. It's like a step below Comic Sans and Papyrus. And I do wonder, like, feel free to comment below how you feel about this. When the trailer dropped for this show, there was a lot of like talk about furries, and it's like Netflix's new furry dating show and furry this, furry that. Obviously this show shames furries. It does it within the first 5 minutes. It shamed furries. The hopeful says something like, oh, I hope I like you better without the mask on. And the narrator's like, I mean, I hope the same would apply to everyone. It's basically shaming anyone that would enjoy hooking up like in the costumes, which is shaming furries. They made several offhand comments like this. They even had a moment where they had a date that was a foot massage, and they did a lot of close-ups of the feet and slow motion shots of the feet, and were like, okay, feet freaks, this one's for you. That's what the narrator said. So I feel like in general this show is kind of kink shamey. It does feel like it's using the shock factor of kinks, especially the furry one. The foot one was just one scene, but the furry one is throughout and in the trailer, and they make these offhand comments that show that they actually shame furries, like they make fun of furry type preferences. Is this show like kink baiting? I don't think that's a term at all. Obviously, I don't think kink baiting is like as big as an offense. I think queer baiting and race baiting, it's definitely not on that level, but it still feels kind of like they're exploiting that type of kink for shock factor to get people to watch their show, and then shaming it within the show as a bad thing, definitely treating it as a big joke. Honestly, this whole show feels like it treats itself as a big joke, and like in a not funny way. Even the people that go on it are very like casual and very like kind of this is stupid kind of energy. Everyone's like, I'm here to have a good time, I guess, and probably get paid. So yeah, if you have any thoughts on that like kink shamey part of this, and just using it for shock factor, because it's not a furry dating show. It's not. It's just regular people that are using this tactic to test a Love is Blind type theory or whatever they're doing to do a social experiment. Another thing was that like some of the disguises were actually legit scary. There were some that were just like very difficult, particularly with the drinking, or when they would try to kiss. That was so freaking awkward and uncomfortable anytime they would try to kiss each other. But some of them legit had like scary ass costumes, like gory. Like there was a zombie girl that was like chunks were like falling off of her face, and I swear they always got cut first. Like the ugliest disguises got cut first because they were scary. Like I was straight up scared. I thought the beaver was scary just because it had huge teeth. Him trying to drink with teeth like this, like, oh my god, it was kind of terrifying. I thought the animals ones were the cutest. I think the most furry-ish ones were the animal ones. Like there was a wolf and a buffalo guy and a panda girl. Like I thought those outfits were cute. Like the wolf was very furry looking, I will say. The bull guy, the buffalo, I don't know what he was, the buffalo with curly hair, I can't believe he said he wanted a girl that could match his Funko Pop collection. Like this was all filmed in London, by the way, so it isn't a British show still. The narrator is Rob what is his name? Rob Delaney. I keep getting confused with John Mulaney. I don't know either of them. I don't know what they do. Rob Delaney is the narrator. And he was so douchey, honestly. I don't know if it's his own comedy that's like this, but apparently he's a comedian, and his narration was just so trashy. Like I was saying, he was like furry shaming, kink shaming, and just like very misogynist. Like when a hot girl would reveal herself, he'd be like, oh, she's so hot, kind of thing. It was just cringy as hell. I don't know how much that comedian cost just to be the narrator, but everything felt low budget except the special effects. I didn't even know like special effects makeup could be this good. Like maybe I don't watch a lot of fantasy or don't pay that much attention. I just assumed everything was CGI in movies, but this is like really beautiful makeup. How they can like talk and their mouths move. They really look like they are some weird animal creature or mythical creature. Like I was shocked how good special effects makeup is in general. Like they did a really good job with it. I don't know, I was just impressed by that. And I read an article about the process of this, and honestly that would have been a way more entertaining show just to see how they do the makeup for them, because I was like fascinated. They got this company to do it, and there's like a main guy in the company. This company did Harry Potter and other big budget things. They did the original Sexy Beasts for BBC in 2014, and apparently they have to make 3 versions of the mask. So they film an episode for 3 days, and they're in costume all 3 days. So they actually have to make 3 identical masks for each day for each person. That's 12 masks per episode because there's 4 people. I thought that was really interesting. That's a lot of work, and he had to make 28 characters because they were going to be in these masks for such a long time. He had to make sure that they wouldn't sweat off, that it would just hold that long. There was one date that was at an amusement park, and that one had a lot of restrictions with what they could have on their face. They really had to like build these prosthetics to withstand like being out and about and drinking and kissing and all of those things. So that's where literally all the budget went, I assume. I'm just surprised a show this low budget had this good of makeup. Like it's expensive to have something like that. Like 3 masks per person per episode, that's a lot of masks. And apparently they ordered 2 seasons of this, so there's gonna be more. This was season 1, 6 episodes, and they have a season 2 coming with 6 more episodes. So it's a ton of makeup and special effects work. So at least they did that. It'd be so much more interesting to see a show about that, about how that all goes, how they put them in, how long it takes to put them in that kind of costume. Like that's what this show just seems so unsustainable behind the scenes. Like so long to put them in costume for this very shitty premise. They did all these little dates throughout the season, but there was this one date that was really so cute. Like I didn't know you were allowed to do this, but they were like literally sitting with meerkats, and the meerkats were just like coming, taking their food and being cute on them, and they were like petting the meerkat. It was so cute. Like I didn't know that was like allowed. I didn't know meerkats were like cool like that with humans. That was a cute date. That was the only date I liked. So overall, I think it's pretty clear that I don't recommend this show. I don't even recommend it if you're a fan of trashy reality TV. It's just not worth your time, and you will be bored. You can give it a couple episodes. Even then, like I didn't find any episode like to stand out that much. The special effects are cool. That's about it. I wonder if I were to go on this show, what beast would I be? I would love to be like a Cheshire cat, like a pink sort of cat-like thing. They'd probably make me like a flamingo or some shit, which is fine, I guess. I'll take it. I would definitely be something pink. Let me know in the comments below what beast you would want to be turned into if you were on this dumb show. Please like and subscribe to my channel if you enjoyed. I put out new videos twice a week about pop culture, internet trends, and other miscellaneous things. And you can follow me at Miscellaneous on Twitter or Instagram to find out about new videos, or just turn on the bell notification here on YouTube. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye!